video friends. Please, first of all, subscribe to my channel, let you know my new videos. Today's subject is sterlin. Sterlin is one of the money kinds, as you know. It's used for English people in Britain. Britain main money, as you know, is sterlin. Let's talk about sterlin. Pound sterling, the basic monetary unit of Great Britain, divided since 1971 decimally into 100 new pence. The term is derived from the fact that about 775 silver coins known as sterlings were issued in the Saxon kingdoms, 240 of them being minted from a pound of silver, the weight of which was probably about equal to later Troy pounds. Hence, large payments came to be refunded in pounds of sterling, a phrase later shortened to pound sterling. After the Norman conquest, the pound was divided for accounting perhaps into 20 shillings and into 240 pennies or pence. In medieval Latin documents, the words libra, solidos, and denarius were used to denote the pound, shilling, and penny, which gave rise to the use of the symbols. Yes. Pound sterling coins. On February 15, 1971, the pound sterling was officially decimated into 100 new pence. The symbol dollar was retained for the pound sterling, and the latter was chosen for the new penny. English economist John Maynard Keynes Wright confers with United States Secretary of the Treasury Henry Morgenthau Jr. in 1944 at an international monetary conference in Bretton Woods. International payment and exchange, the function of gold holding a particular currency, say sterling, for another currency, say the dollar, access the demand of dollar holders for sterling, the dollar will tend to rise in the foreign exchange market. Under the gold standard system, there was a limit to the amount by which it could rise or fall. Various denominations of the euro currency, money, the gold standard. A British pound sterling was defined as 113 grains of pure gold, 123.274 grains of gold, 11/12 fine. Accordingly, one British pound equaled 4,665 US dollars at the official parity. The actual exchange rate could divide from this value only by an amount that corresponded to sterling. Kingdom is still called the pound sterling. The pound sterling's origins go back to Anglo-Saxon times, when a pound weight of silver was coined into 240 pennies. These pennies were made from an alloy that was 925 parts silver and 75 parts copper. This proportion remained the standard in English. The British Monetary Fund is historically linked with the minting of silver coins, sterlings, from the Tower pound. Large payments were reckoned in pounds of sterling, later shortened to pounds sterling. United Kingdom. United Kingdom, island country located off the northern coast of mainland Europe. Especially, it's used as money for sterling. Pound sterling, the basic monetary unit of Great Britain, divided since 1971 decimally into 100 new pence. The term is derived from the fact that about 775 silver coins known as sterlings were issued in the Saxon kingdoms, 240 of them being minted from a pound of silver, the weight of which was probably about equal to the later Troy pound. Hence, large payments came to be reckoned in pounds of sterling, a phrase later shortened to pound sterling. After the Norman conquest, the pound was divided for accounting perhaps into 20 shillings and into 240 pennies or pence. In the Latin documents, the words libra, solidus, and denarius were used to denote the pound, shilling, and penny, which gave rise to US of symbols. On February 15, 1971, the pound sterling was officially decimaled into 100 new pence. The symbol sterling was retained for the pound sterling, and the letter was chosen for the new penny. English economist John Maynard Keynes Wright confers with United States Secretary of the Treasury Henry Morgenthau Jr. in 1944 at an international monetary conference in Bretton Woods. International payment and exchange. The function of gold holding a particular currency, say sterling, for another currency, say the dollar, exceeds the demand of dollars for sterling, the dollar will tend to rise in the foreign exchange market. Under the gold standard system, there was a limit to the amount by which it could rise or fall. A British pound sterling was defined as 113,000 grains of pure gold. According to British accounts, 4,000 United States dollars at the official parity. The actual exchange rate could divide from this value only by an amount that corresponded to. Kingdom is still called the pound sterling. The pound sterling's origins go back to Anglo-Saxon times when a pound weight of silver was coined into 240 pennies. These pennies were made from an alloy that was 925 parts silver and 75 parts copper. This proportion remained the standard in English. The British monetary pound is historically linked with the minting of silver coins, sterlings, from the Tower pound. Large payments were reckoned in pounds of sterling, later shortened to pounds sterling. Yes. Anglo-Saxon times, when a pound weight of silver was coined into 240 pennies, these pennies were made from an alloy that was 925 parts silver and 75 parts copper. This proportion remains the standard in English. A British pound sterling was defined as 113,000 grains of pure gold. Accordingly, British pound equals United States dollars, 4,000 United States dollars. The actual exchange rate could divide from this value only by an amount that corresponded to sterling. Kingdom is still called the pound sterling. The pound sterling's origins go back to Anglo-Saxon times when a pound weight of silver was coined into 240 pennies. These pennies were made from an alloy that was 925 parts silver and 75 parts copper. This proportion remained the standard in English. The British monetary fund is historically linked with the minting of silver coins, sterlings, from the Tower pound. Large payments were reckoned in pounds of sterling, later shortened to pounds sterling. Pound sterling, the basic monetary unit of Great Britain, divided since 1971 decimally into 100 new pence. The term is derived from the fact that about 775 silver coins known as sterlings were issued in the Saxon kingdoms, 240 of them being minted from a pound of silver, the weight of which was probably about equal to the later troy pound. Hence, large payments came to the reckoned in pounds of sterling, a phrase later shortened to pound sterling. After the Norman conquest, the pound was divided for economic perhaps into 20 shillings and into 240 pennies or pence. In medieval Latin documents, words libra, solidus, and denarius were used to denote the pound, shilling, and penny, which gave rise to US of small sterling. Thank you very much for watching me. Please subscribe to my channel, let you know my new videos. Thank you.